So let me guess, you've landed here because you're thinking about making a move to Holly Springs or within Holly Springs, and you're wondering, what is all the hype about? And in today's video, I'm going to give you some local insight from a 21-year resident, that's right, me, about the best and the worst things about living in Holly Springs. And if you stick around until the end, I'm going to share one of the best kept secrets, and you definitely don't want to miss that. So, are you ready? Let's learn about Holly Springs. Now, if this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in the Raleigh area and the suburbs like Holly Springs, then subscribe below and tap that bell for notifications so that you can be the first to learn about all the things going on in the Raleigh and Holly Springs real estate market. I'm Gretchen Coley, founder of the Coley Group, and I run the #1 Compass team in the entire triangle. You know, we get calls, texts, and emails every day from people just like you who are looking for help to make a move within the Raleigh area and its suburbs, and we love it. So whether you're looking to make a move within 12 days or 12 months, reach out to us. Our contact information is right below this video. My team and I would love to help you find your slice of heaven in Holly Springs. Now, Holly Springs is often considered one of the best suburbs in Raleigh, and I couldn't agree more. It attracts residents for a variety of reasons. Holly Springs has garnered numerous awards and accolades that help solidify its reputation as an exceptional place to live. Now, it is renowned for its family-friendly atmosphere, and I can attest to this because I've raised my 3 children in Holly Springs, and they're now 20 years old, and my twins are actually 17. So I've been through every phase of life with them, and I can tell you, all the hype is real. Holly Springs consistently ranks among the best places to reside in all of North Carolina, with accolades from publications like Money Magazine and Niche.com. Its commitment to providing top-notch amenities for families, including high-quality schools, parks, and recreation facilities, underscores its appeal to residents seeking a nurturing environment for raising children. Holly Springs stands out for safety and low crime rates, offering residents peace of mind and a secure overall living environment. Overall, the town's active community engagement, coupled with its emphasis on safety and education, cultivates a status that is a highly desirable place to call home. So, what do people love about living in Holly Springs? Here are the top reasons that people enjoy calling my hometown their hometown. So #1 is location. You know, about 18 years ago, my husband and I thought about moving out of Holly Springs. We were getting ready to build a new home, and we really looked all over the triangle. And we couldn't find what we believed to be a better location to raise our family. So located on the southwest side of Raleigh, Holly Springs sits just below Cary, and it gives you easy access to Highway 1, Highway 64, and 440 to get into Raleigh. One of the other things that's amazing about the location is the outer belt line, Highway 540, has opened up, and even though that's a toll road, so many people love it because there's nobody driving on it. So if I need to get anywhere in North Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Durham, I hop on 540 and it is so easy. It's a breeze to get there. So I can be in Durham in 30 minutes, Chapel Hill in 30 minutes. I can be to the airport in 22 minutes and to Research Triangle Park in less than 20 minutes from my house. That says a lot. Now, when it comes to getting into Raleigh, my office is in North Hills, so I'm about a 25-minute drive to North Hills without traffic, a little longer if traffic's rough. You know, there's a lot of construction going on 440 right now. And I am about 20 minutes, 25 minutes from downtown, depending on where in downtown I need to go. So I think that is a pretty primo location where I can get on a highway to go anywhere I need, and I can be everywhere in the triangle within less than 30 minutes, which is awesome. Reason #2 that people love calling Holly Springs home, and we alluded to it in the beginning of the video, is safety. Holly Springs is constantly ranked as one of the safest towns to live in all of North Carolina and in the United States. Crime rates are low. What I love most is our police department, our fire department. They are so involved in the town. They're in the children's schools. They're out and about doing fun things. They're at all the festivals that we have, which we'll talk a lot more about later. But there's such a great presence with the public service providers in Holly Springs and the town residents. It really ensures that, our kids are being watched after, our homes are being watched after, and we overall feel a sense of peace and safety living in Holly Springs. Pro number 3 about why people love calling Holly Springs homes is the schools. People move to Holly Springs to get into these school districts. They are phenomenal. But because of the growth of the town, in 1991, my husband and his partner started developing a neighborhood called Sunset Ridge. It's one of the biggest neighborhoods in town. The town was only about 900 people in 91. Now we're over 40,000 residents. So because of that kind of growth, the schools have had an impact. So what a lot of people love about Holly Springs is you have 2 options: a traditional calendar, which gives the summers off, and a year-round calendar that operates on 4 different calendars where you do a quarter and then you have a couple weeks off, and then you do another quarter and have a couple weeks off. You typically have longer breaks around Christmas and during the summer, but it's giving a year-round cycle. Now, that's mostly prominent in elementary school, but it does trickle up to middle school at Middle Creek, and then you've got your traditional calendar for your high schools. And there are typically, for any neighborhood or home that you buy, there's typically 2 schools that you get to choose from. One is your base school, and then if you want to or have a desire to go into the other school, which might be a year-round or a traditional calendar, you have the option for a lottery. Now, there are some other schools in Holly Springs that are important to note, because we do have a lot of magnet and charter schools through the Wake County public school system. This is a major pro because they end up being kind of like private schools. You have to provide your own transportation, but they each have different curriculums. And one that's worth making note of is Pine Springs Academy. Pine Springs has an elementary school and a middle school, and they've got great programming. All of my friends who have kids there absolutely love it. Then there are some great private school options in Holly Springs, like Thales Academy. There are some Christian schools that are very close by. And you can always go into private schools in Cary, Apex, or in Raleigh if that's your choice. But overall, there are so many choices. And I will tell you, the kids in the public school system love it. They've got access to great sports, great arts. It's really a great system to be in for schools, and you can see why parents love it so much. Pro number 4 about living in Holly Springs is it ties a little bit into location, but it also ties into family-friendly amenities. So just to give you a little bit of insight, I've lived in Holly Springs for 21 years, as I said. My oldest son actually went to school in Raleigh, and I've always worked in Raleigh. So I've done the Holly Springs to Raleigh drive. What I love most about Holly Springs is that once I get back home to Holly Springs, I could do all of my kids' activities, anything that we needed to do right there in town. They've got so many great spots like Sunshine Gymnastics if your kids are into that. The Holly Springs School of Dance, which is run by Marilyn Chappell, who is amazing. They also have a brand new Daniel Dares Sports Complex, which is a BMX bike and skateboard facility, and it's actually the biggest independently owned facility of its kind in the world. So this gives us great access to all kinds of things that our kids and us as adults can do to really enjoy Holly Springs. Now, the next part of the family-friendly piece of Holly Springs is because of the history of Holly Springs, and it's kind of cool to note that Holly Springs was built around these springs that fed into a lake that was surrounded by holly trees, therefore giving it the name Holly Springs. Now, this lineage runs all the way back to the Tuscarora Indians, and it actually is what brought railroads and such to Holly Springs. So because of that, there are so many green spaces and open spaces. And I would say that there's always something to do, whether it's downtown or in the parks or on the lakes, and we're going to talk about a lot of those, but having all of those amenities right there for you, no matter what age your children are or what style of life you like to live, these are really important things for family life, and we're going to put links down below for all of this, so you'll be able to go check out all the spots that I'm mentioning. The next thing that I love about Holly Springs is their Parks and Rec department, and let me tell you, and I have already done a video about this, you can do an entire 45-minute video on the Holly Springs Parks and Rec department. It is known as one of the best in all of Wake County. You know, Holly Springs grew so fast, so did the Parks and Rec. So there's a couple of notable places that are really, really cool. Number one is Womble Park. Womble Park has turfed area for soccer or lacrosse. It's got baseball fields. It's got a playground. It's got a lake and an amphitheater. And it has tennis courts, pickleball courts, and walking trails that go all around it. So when my children were younger, that's where we played soccer. That's where they played baseball. And it was such a cool spot to go and have a picnic or let your kids play on the playground equipment or take a walk around the trails and watch some serious competitive soccer for 4-year-olds, if you know what I mean. The next park that we really like a lot is Bass Lake Park. Now, Bass Lake Park is more of an outdoor setting. It's got a 1.5-mile trail that runs around the lake. There's fishing, there's canoeing, there's a great little pavilion that's got all kinds of critters in there for your little ones to look at, and it's a fun place to sit, fish a little bit for some bass, you never know what you might catch, and have a popsicle, sit in the rocking chairs, take it all in, or take a walk that feels more like a hike. Bass Lake is a phenomenal place to go. The other one that we love is Ting Park. Now, Ting Park is one of the newer facilities in Holly Springs, and I have to say, as a resident, when I heard they were going to spend $4 million building this park that was going to house a baseball team, I thought the town had lost their mind. However, it's walking distance from my house, and now I've seen the light. There's a gorgeous baseball facility, which is home to the Holly Springs Salamanders. Great place to take in a baseball game. So much fun. There's pickleball courts, tennis courts. There's a huge soccer field where Wake FC plays. They have tournaments and such going on all the time. And there's a huge walking trail that goes around the entire facility. It is such a cool spot. And every time I drive through there, it doesn't matter, cold, hot, whatever. There's people on the baseball field, there's people on the playground, there's people walking their dogs around the loop, there's bikes, and there's people on those pickleboards tearing it down, laughing, and having a great time. It gets used so much. So these are just a couple of the amenities, but overall, the Holly Springs Parks and Rec Department not only has facilities, but they also have a place like the Hunt Center. The Hunt Center is an indoor facility that has an indoor walking trail, a gym, ping pong tables, basketball. So for whatever kind of programming your children or your family is into, Holly Springs has got it going on. I'm going to link Hoorah's magazine down here where you can check out. They have programming from 3 years old to 90. So think about basketball, ping pong, athletic programs, weight training programs. They have art programs. They do theater. They do dance. There's a little bit of everything going on at the Parks and Rec. And like I said, I could do an entire video on this. So I'll leave this with you, and I'll put the links in the bottom, and you can dig in a little more. The next pro to living in Holly Springs is special events and activities. Listen, a town wouldn't be a family-friendly town if it didn't have so many things going on. So the Holly Springs Cultural Center has been a great addition for us. It's where theater can happen. There's a library there, but it also is home to the farmers market on Saturday mornings. So on any given Saturday, you can troll down to the farmers market. There's food trucks, there's coffee, fresh honey, all your veggies, everything you need. There's also parades that are going on throughout the year. The Holly Springs Christmas Parade is a big one where we all go downtown. There's also a 4th of July celebration in Sugg Park. It's just a great place to go, hang out with your family. And the Holly Springs event calendar is packed with events just like that. So you'll have to check everything out at the link below. But man, it's so nice on a Saturday morning not to have to leave town to do something fun and get your family outside. The other piece that I really like, and what I think is another pro of Holly Springs, and we've talked a little bit about it, is all the outdoor activities. There's over 30 parks, trails, and greenways that you can take part in Holly Springs, and we've talked about a few of them, so I won't hit that one again. But overall, if you are an outdoor enthusiast, living in Holly Springs is going to be right up your alley. The next pro that you'll find in Holly Springs is the amenities. We're going to talk about this in two parts because Highway 55 splits Holly Springs. The east side of Highway 55 is old Holly Springs, and the west side of Highway 55 is the newer Holly Springs. The older portion of Holly Springs has got a great downtown. Now, where this is not like a typical older downtown that's been revitalized, this is a new downtown with lots of new buildings, new shopping. There's some phenomenal restaurants like Osha, which is Thai and sushi. There's BEP, which is one of my favorites. It's a Vietnamese cuisine. There's Priyana Yoga in the block on Main, JT's Creamery, and there's the Pimento Tea Room, which is awesome. They have indoor and outdoor dining in one of Holly Springs' historic homes. They've got scones, teas, all kinds of amazing things that you'll really enjoy. You know, 15 years ago, living in Holly Springs, the downtown was kind of just, like we would go to Apex. But they have done so much to bring Holly Springs alive. There's always something going on, and there are some phenomenal restaurants that you'll have to check out. Now, the other side of Holly Springs has the Holly Springs Town Center. This is on the other side of Highway 55. It's where Target is. So for those of you who are like me, it's a common destination, often multiple times a week. Target also brought along with it some box stores like Dick's Sporting Goods, there's a Marshall's, there's nail places, Tijuana Flats, Starbucks. There's a lot going on there, and the businesses are coming in droves. So if I'm going to go shopping and I need something that's, you know, Target or some of that kind of day-to-day from a big box store, that's usually where I go. There's always something going on there. They do outdoor festivals and events a lot, so it's a great place to go hang out, have lunch, and enjoy meeting up with your friends. Now, we can't talk about pros and cons of living in Holly Springs without talking about where you're actually going to live. So I want to talk about some stats, but I also want to share with you a couple of neighborhoods. So let's start with stats first. Holly Springs has a variety of houses, from apartments to condos, which are limited, to townhouses and single-family homes. Now, townhouses are going to run you about a median price of about $345,000 today, and single-family homes are going to run in a median price point of about $631,000 today. And those are definitely a little bit higher price points than the median of Wake County, which is in the 450,000s. Now, the thing I want to point out is appreciation in Holly Springs is tracking higher and faster than in the rest of the Triangle MLS. In Holly Springs alone, townhouses appreciated at about 6% last year, and single-family homes between 4 and 5% depending on the neighborhood, whereas the entire MLS that we look in, which we call the Triangle MLS, only appreciated about 2%. So this just tells you that people are really pushing to move into Holly Springs, and you've heard all of the reasons why. So some of the neighborhoods that I like the most are Sunset Ridge, which I'm particularly fond of because it's where I live. My husband actually was a partner in the development of this neighborhood. It's a great place to call home. You'll find homes anywhere from the 600s up. There's townhouses there. There are townhomes as well, but it is a huge master plan neighborhood that surrounds Devil's Ridge Golf Club. Devil's Ridge is one of the area's favorite golf courses. There's a great clubhouse. There's tennis and 4 pools that are within the neighborhood. Now, what I like about Sunset Ridge is the pools and tennis are not part of your homeowners association dues. You can choose to join them if you want and choose not to if that suits you better. So it's a great place to check out. What people love about Sunset Ridge is there are tree-lined streets, and the trees literally canopy the streets. It's beautiful, and that it's very mature. So if you like a more mature neighborhood with a little bit larger lot, Sunset Ridge could be for you. The other neighborhood I like a lot is on the newer side of Holly Springs, and I said we're going to talk about the old and the new, and that's 12 Oaks. 12 Oaks is also surrounded by a Jack Nicklaus golf course, which people absolutely love. 12 Oaks has housing from the $300,000 price point all the way up. They've got condos, they've got townhouses and single family. Some homes in the neighborhood with incredible golf course views. Now, what people love about living in 12 Oaks is their amenity center looks like a page torn out of a Southern Living magazine. It is gorgeous. It's just that Georgian colonial. It oozes Southern hospitality. There's 2 pools, again, a fabulous golf course, tennis, but there are events going on in that clubhouse all the time, from mommy-daughter teas to daddy-daughter dances to the next member guest tournament. There's always something going on, and most of the people who live in 12 Oaks love plugging into that. Now, the people who I find moving out of 12 Oaks are people who that's just a little bit much for them. So in 12 Oaks, you're going to find a little bit smaller lots, a more tight-knit community, and I will tell you, the people who love it, love it. There's also tons of new neighborhoods in Holly Springs. You can really find anything. Basically, you can draw a bullseye there, and pretty much every national builder is in that market, from Lennar, D.R. Horton, there's Active Adult. There is a little bit of everything. So whatever you're looking for, you can find in Holly Springs. Now, of course, I've been like a run-on sentence on the things that I love about Holly Springs, but I bet you're wondering, what do people not like? Well, there's definitely a few things that are not my favorite, and not the favorite of my clients who have shared this with me. Number 1 is traffic congestion in Holly Springs is not fun. There's a couple of reasons why. Remember I told you that Outer Belt Loop, Highway 540, opened up in Holly Springs, and when that happened, the Target and all of those stores came, and the Department of Transportation decided to do something called a super highway on 55. Instead of doing overpasses and the normal loop-de-loops that we all love to drive on, they put a median down the middle of Highway 55 and stoplights. And so you have to do these little U-turns. And I guess I was behind the times because I had never heard of a superhighway when this thing came to town, and I wasn't happy about it then, and I'm still not happy about it. And most people aren't. High times of traffic, you are going to find this place not fun. At 5 o'clock, traffic backs up because you have all these stoplights that stop people so that other people can do the U-turns. It is quite possibly one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in a town. But whatever, if that's all that there is that's bad, then it's a pretty good place to live, right? And it's not every day, it's just some days. The second part of Holly Springs that's tough in regards to traffic is they are now widening Holly Springs Road, which runs from 55 and that Highway 540 all the way into Kildare Farm Road into Jones Franklin in Raleigh. This road is being widened because they're doing another on-ramp for Highway 540 that will meet at Kildare Farm Road. And so the roads are all being rerouted. Traffic is just yucky. It really is. And I do believe, though, that once all this stuff gets worked out, you're going to be able to scoot right through Holly Springs just like we used to do back in the old days. And I am all about progress, and I love having a Target in Holly Springs. So I say bring on the rooftops and bring on the traffic. You can determine if this is a pro or as a con. The second con to living in Holly Springs is, you probably have already heard, it's high price point. Cost of living in Holly Springs is a little higher than some of the surrounding areas. There's a lot of new construction, there's a lot of resale, but Holly Springs is on the map and people know about it and they want to live there because of all of the things that we've talked about. So you are going to pay more for a home in Holly Springs than you might pay in Fuquay, or you might pay in some areas of Apex or Cary. But for the most part, people are willing to make the stretch because they want all of the things that come with living in such a great location with so much access to amenities that the town is giving to us. The third con to living in Holly Springs is it's a little bit sleepy of a way of life. And I can say this because I've raised my kids here, so I've been through all the transitions, but now that I'm approaching being an empty nester and my kids are a little older, I definitely don't drive from work to Holly Springs and then come back out. Like, there's just not a ton of things going on from a nightlife perspective in Holly Springs. Now, granted, I can do everything I want during the week there. There's great restaurants, all of that. But a lot of my friends live in Raleigh, so I end up going into Raleigh a little more than most people do. And I do hear that as a complaint for some of the people who live in Holly Springs. They really have to drive in for museums, for entertainment, and for nightlife and really, really high level dining. And I think that could be a con for some people. Now, when my kids were younger and I was raising my kids, I thought that was awesome because I love being able to come home on the weekends, not have to put makeup on, and be able to walk around anywhere I wanted to walk around with my kids. I love that aspect of the town, but it's definitely a little sleepier than some of the other suburbs. So the next con to living in Holly Springs is because most of it's downtown and most of the shopping in Holly Springs are newly developed, it doesn't have that same aspect of locally owned stores like you might find in an Apex or in a downtown Cary. So that's some of the complaints that I end up getting, is that there's a lot of national chains, there's a lot of big box retailers, but there's not a ton of places where the mom and pops exist. And I could definitely see that, but I do think the town is changing. I think Main Street Square, which is down 55 a little bit going towards Fuquay, it's across from the Walmart. There's a huge neighborhood around there, but it's got a couple of great little shops that sit around a green. My dog goes to the vet there. There's a shop called Swoon, and there's an adorable little coffee shop down there. There's also Dunkin' Donuts. So you get a little bit of everything. So I could see this being a pro or a con depending on how you look at things. So as you can see, there's not a lot of cons to living in Holly Springs. I kind of like it, but you're getting all of this information from me, and I'm just one person. Granted, I am a real estate agent who raised her kids in this town, and my husband definitely helped develop one of my favorite neighborhoods in the whole place, so I'm a little bit biased, but I'd love for you out there to put in the comments, what do you love most about living in Holly Springs? If you moved here from out of town, why did you choose Holly Springs instead of the other places? This will help everyone get to know a little bit more about the pros and cons of Holly Springs. So we get calls, texts, and emails every single day from people like you who are looking to make a move into the Raleigh area or its suburbs, especially Holly Springs. And we understand how daunting it is to try to do this from far away. So if you're thinking about making a move to Holly Springs, and maybe you live out of state, or maybe you live in Raleigh or some of the other surrounding suburbs, and you want to find your place in Holly Springs, my team and I would love to help you. All of our contact information is below, so whether you're looking to make a move in the next 12 days or 12 months, reach out to us at the contact info below, and we would love to assist you in finding your slice of heaven in Holly Springs or in Raleigh. We'll see you in Holly Springs.